Hello, gremlins! As promised, here is the continuation of the character I introduced in the last video, linked here if you missed it. This character introduction video will be made a little differently, because more than one character is involved. In fact, there are 12. While I sketch the main OC, the one I pretended to be, I'll explain the background of the world, then introduce the other characters involved briefly, before finishing the main drawing. In this world, my character Emmie is one of 12 immortal color fairies, whose life essences are tied to the existence of color. Don't think too hard about the logic behind this. I was 11 when I imagined this world, and didn't understand light wavelengths or how color worked. The fairies live on an unmappable island that moves around the world to be near the interesting parts of history, but if they want to, the fairies can leave and interact with regular people. The island itself changes as history unfolds, so the fairies live like very well-off people of the time period. For example, at one point they lived in a Roman villa, a medieval European castle, and now live in a modern penthouse. When history changes, the island shapeshifts to match, and memorabilia from the previous eras live in an underground museum so the fairies can reminisce. Each fairy has a magical animal companion that matches them in color. My main OC, Emmie, short for Emerald, has a green leopard, because leopards were my favorite animal when I came up with this imaginary world. The leopard's name is Jade. I'll now briefly introduce each of the other color fairies. Here is a drawing I made of the whole group together. Disclaimer, I traced an anime base and can't find the base to give credit since this was drawn a while ago. I drew all 12 of the color fairies on Adobe Illustrator, showing off their personal style and companion animal. I'm pretty sure all the animals were traced from Google Images. First, the red fairy. This is Scarlet and her snake Ruby. Scarlet is very in shape and knows martial arts from across history and the globe. She has a collection of ancient weapons. She also loves fashion and good food. Her favorite fashion era recently was the 60s. Scarlet is one of the more intimidating fairies, mostly because of her habit of wearing her snake Ruby around her shoulders as an accessory. However, she is a sweetheart and a good shoulder to cry on. The orange fairy is Amber, and her companion owl named Topaz. Amber is very athletic and loves to dance and do gymnastics. She still knows dances from centuries ago and can just as easily dance to TikTok songs as she can a Regency waltz or medieval jig. Despite the risk of posting her immortal self online, she has a TikTok account where she teaches those dance steps to history nerds. This is Sunny, the yellow fairy, and her butterfly, Ray. Sunny is the most outgoing of the group and has made the most friends among mortals. This is a double-edged sword. Despite her positive outlook, Sunny carries the grief of thousands of generations of friends lost. She copes with that grief by trying to comfort other people in pain, and everyone else desperately wants her to get the therapy she needs. If you don't know her, you'd think Sunny was always happy, but her happiness just hides her pain. I'm skipping over Emmie the green fairy since I'll be talking much more in depth about her when I've finished these brief introductions. Sky is the blue fairy and has a panda companion named Sapphire. Sky loves music, both listening to it and making it. She almost always has earbuds in, listening to something and singing along. She has a room of various instruments and can play songs from across history, but likes folk songs the most. Sky and Amber are very close because Sky can create the music that Amber dances to. The indigo fairy is Inky. She has a dolphin companion named Marine, who swims through air as though it is water with the use of magic. Inky is the most online of the group since the internet became a thing. She has the worst sleep schedule as well. When not spending hours on Instagram, TikTok, or Tumblr, Inky likes to do watercolor and write poetry in long-dead languages. Inky almost always has headphones on and listens to everything from Mozart to D&D podcasts to classic rock. This is Lavender and her fox Violet. Lavender featured in my last video as well. She is Emmie's closest friend in the group and was my usual imaginary companion when I pretended to be Emmie. Lavender is sporty and also loves fashion and more girly things. She likes to go on hikes and runs, practice medieval and Renaissance sword fighting. She also likes trying out wild makeup looks and finding cool purple clothing in thrift stores around the world. The pink fairy is Blossom, who has a cat as a companion named Magenta. Blossom loves painting and drawing with colored pencils and photographing flowers. She feels emotions very intensely. She has an amazing laugh, cries easily, and loves hugs. As well as her art, Blossom likes to bake desserts. Her favorites are croissants and strawberry shortbreads, and she loves the modern technology that saves her from beating eggs by hand. This is Coco, the brown fairy, and her bear, Brownie. Coco loves nature and being outside, and is the most adventurous of the group. Even as the fairies live in the height of magical luxury, Coco spends nights outside under the stars, and gets her hand dirty as she travels the world and searches for experiences. She likes crafts that use her hands, like whittling and pottery. Ebony is the black fairy, and she has a lynx as her companion, named Midnight. She speaks fluent sarcasm, but when someone needs her to be genuine, she'll be there for them. Ebony stays up through the night and sleeps until late afternoon when left to her own devices. She likes painting with ink and drawing with charcoal, and also makes her own jewelry and has gone through phases of different forms of metalworking. The penultimate fairy is Mist, the grey fairy, and her crocodile Ash. She is the most introverted of the fairies, spending long hours alone with Ash. Mist is a writer. She's written multiple novels and books of poetry. She published some of them under pseudonyms and others are for herself alone. When not writing, Mist also reads. She has a collection of ancient texts any historian would kill to read. Finally, this is Angela the White Fairy and her rabbit Snowball. Angela is the group therapist, after reading every new study on psychology and arguing with it in the margins. She loves learning and often spends years trying to absorb all the information available about niche scientific studies. She often puts together scientific experiments in her room, as well as observing and recording the night sky. Currently, she is hyper-focused on unusual weather phenomenon. All 12 of these fairies are friends and have spent millennia together, since the dawn of humanity. I haven't fleshed out their history beyond deciding that they have been part of major historic areas around the world. They participated in ancient Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and Rome, in medieval Europe, the Renaissance, all the way through to the modern day. Now they can join the benefits of modern life, with technology and entertainment and travel. Because of their immortality, the fairies also join in to make the world a better place. They turn up in disaster zones to help. They fight for social justice. They also enjoy watching TV and movies and TikToks, and creating art and music and playing games. Now Emmie, the part of the group I put the most characterization into, because I pretended I was her. Emmie is artistic and loves to collect things. She has a large collection of trinkets from across history and the world. She has experimented with creating art in all sorts of historic styles. Currently, she gravitates towards Art Nouveau posters, digital painting, and ink cartoons. In this drawing, she is sketching her leopard companion Jade, just for fun. She might ink it later, or just leave it as a simple sketch. As well as enjoying art and collecting, Emmie also loves travel and adventure. She loves new experiences, big and small. There aren't too many things that are new to an immortal, but there's always something due to new technologies available. Since handheld cameras were invented, Emmie has collected photographs of her adventures. She loves having fun and hanging out with her companions and Jade. I drew Emmie spending a quiet moment with Jade on the floor of her bedroom. She has one hand around the leopard's back and the other hand is sketching. In the background, there are plants on the windowsill and art on the walls. This drawing took hours, spread over several days. I put a lot of detail into the background and the leopard spots. While working on it, all the lore I created around Emmie came back to me, and honestly I started pretending to be her again. It's really comforting to go back to old imaginary games and daydreams. I know these character videos are not my most popular, but I really like revisiting my old characters and talking about them. This particular video was really fun to make, even if it took longer than expected. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye!